Did you catch all the secrets in Squid Game Season 3? No? Let's fix that. Hey movie buff, you're watching Movie Fanatic, and today we're diving deeper into the twisted world of Squid Game Season 3, from hidden clues to mind-blowing theories. This is part 2 of our breakdown, and it's time to uncover what you might have missed. Let's go. Why did the third season receive the lowest ratings from viewers of all time? The main reason for dissatisfaction is the ending of the main character, Gi-hun's story. After 3 seasons of anticipation, his tragic death seemed meaningless to many. He sacrifices himself to save a child, but the games continue as if nothing happened. Viewers were also disappointed by the rushed resolution, underdeveloped arcs of secondary characters, and the lack of a proper final showdown between Gi-hun and the frontman. Many deaths felt undeserved, especially those of Hyun-ju and Canada Ho, and the development of the main antagonist was too superficial. Furthermore, the series left many questions unanswered, clearly banking on a future spin-off. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, the series creator said he had considered a Squid Game spin-off set between the first and second seasons. The spin-off was supposed to explore questions that were almost completely omitted in the sequel. Hwang explained that the third season should feel like a finale, but he admits he doesn't want to completely forget this story. Actually, I had this vague idea about a possible spin-off, not a sequel, but maybe a spin-off about the 3-year gap between seasons. There's this 3-year period, and maybe I could show what the recruiters, or Captain Park, or the officers, or the masked people were doing during that period, not inside the game arena, but in their lives outside of it.
If he was drunk when he fell, weather like that, well, can you waste time looking for a corpse? Huh? You said we have 3-4 days at most.
So it's a bit of a vague idea I have, which might be developed in the future. The third season is really the finale, and you'll be able to feel that once you watch it. But I'm not trying to say I'm going to completely close the door on a spin-off or a sequel, because as they say never. In the premiere of the third season, the shamaness Sonyo predicts that none of her fellow players will leave the competition alive. In the 6th episode of the third season, the series finale, it seems that Sonyo could indeed see the future. Well, except for player 246, none of the original Squid Game participants, except for him, actually managed to survive the heart-wrenching, life-draining competition, including the series' noble hero, Gi-hun, who sacrifices himself for the greater good.
Do you hear that? It's the sound of all your little friends screaming into your ears from the dead.
Instead, the winner is Junhee's child, who is born in the 2nd episode, but initially, this participant did not have their own number. The series creator, Hwang Dong-hyuk, wanted this turn of events to instill hope. Ultimately, the child represents the future generation, he said at a Netflix Tudum event. I believe that we also have a responsibility and a duty to do everything in our power to leave a better world for the future generation. The child emerging from the game as the winner was consistent with the meaning of Squid Game. The main question is, who essentially won the games this time? In the 2nd season, there was a confusing but seemingly significant scene in which the shamaness told Gi-hun that he had come so far only because he had a purpose to fulfill. She even looked at Junhee while talking about Gi-hun's purpose, hinting that the end of his story would be somehow connected to her. For most of the series, the shamaness Sonyo turned out to be just delusional, but her foresight, funnily enough, came true when Gi-hun saved Junhee's child, putting his own life on the line. At the beginning of the third season, Gi-hun was on the verge of becoming as heartless as the frontman. He even confronted this when he killed Dae-ho during the game of hide-and-seek. But unlike the frontman, Gi-hun retained the remnants of his humanity by not going on a murderous rampage against the other surviving players when the frontman gave him the opportunity. If he had accepted the frontman's offer and killed his rivals in their sleep, he would have been no different from Gi, who was willing to kill his own child to win. It was his sense of humanity that gave Gi-hun the strength to sacrifice himself for the child. Obviously, Gi-hun lost the main game, of course. But the ideological game with the frontman about humanity and the meaning of fighting for the lives of others, he still won. Towards the end, Gi-hun also seems to realize that he could never live with himself in the world after all he has done and experienced. True, the child can finally break the cycle of violence perpetuated by the games and grow up in a much better world than Gi-hun lived in. The ending of the third season is also very reminiscent of the ending of the first season, given that, like Sang-woo, Gi-hun finally realizes the price of his actions and allows someone else to win the prize. In the first season, I remind you, Sang-woo kills himself in the final. In a conversation with Netflix Tudum, Lee Jung-jae, who played the main character, and the show's creator Hwang Dong-hyuk, broke down the reason for Gi-hun's sacrifice. Lee felt the sacrifice made sense, noting that his character's final moments were almost like meeting his own daughter. That is, the original idea was that in this scene, Gi-hun looks at this child as his own daughter. In short, he achieves closure. Hwang explained that the newborn returned his humanity and conscience to him. This ultimately also made him question his own life, as he said the following: "In the end, I came to believe that no matter how hopeless and dark the world may seem, maybe we still have a chance if we can find even a glimmer of hope within ourselves, instead of looking for something in others or from others. I hope we can reflect on our own values and whether we have faith in ourselves so that we can draw on the good within us." I hope that this is the conclusion viewers will draw after watching the third season. Later in an interview, the creator also said that he initially considered a different fate for Gi-hun, in which he would not have died, but felt that there had to be a different solution, both for the game and for Gi-hun himself. Maybe he survives and sees his daughter, I thought. Maybe Gi-hun survives the game and goes to Gayong, and maybe he's the one who sees the new recruiter in the US and sees them playing Daegji. But as I was writing the first, second, third seasons, I saw Gi-hun's entire journey, his experience and emotional journey, what this character went through. His story needed to be concluded differently. Ultimately, Hwang decided that Gi-hun's sacrifice was important for conveying a message, especially in today's climate. The message I wanted to convey was that if we pursue only our immediate personal interests, abandon self-restraint, sacrifice, or responsibility, if we don't get our act together, we have no future. Gi-hun's self-sacrifice to save a child is the message we need to hear today. This character, who is drawn into the game, endures everything, and then returns to put an end to it, is the one who must deliver this message.
We are not horses. We are humans.
Let's talk a little more about that ideological or philosophical game. Seconds before falling, Gi-hun says, "We are humans." In the original Korean version, the meaning is the same. First, the hero says "사람이야," and then "사람이군," that is, "We are people and people." And he doesn't finish the sentence. This isn't just a pause, it's an expression of his internal struggle. He can no longer say unequivocally what people are, because he has seen kindness, he has seen brutality, and even he himself has committed acts that were not the kindest, to put it mildly. Gi-hun apparently experiences conflicting feelings in his final seconds. From the beginning, the series used horses as important metaphors for the players in the main games. In the initial arc of the series, Gi-hun invests a lot of money in horse racing, hoping to win big and solve his financial problems forever. However, he soon becomes a stallion himself when the VIPs bet on him and the other players. After all, he is competing to win a race for their entertainment. You bet on horses, it's the same here, but we bet on people. "You are our horses," says the frontman in the first season, reminding Gi-hun how people like him are turned into mere instruments of entertainment for the rich. Like horses, Gi-hun and the players also adapt and struggle to perform in the games without regard for their rights as human beings. True, towards the end of this story, Gi-hun uses his last strength to protest against the game organizers and remind them that they are not horses, but people. In the first season of Squid Game, Gi-hun initially maintains moral clarity. "I'm not a horse, I'm a human," he says. He fights for dignity, for the right to be heard, not to be a toy in someone else's cruel game. Then he says it with confidence, with faith that humanity is a value, but in the finale, he wants to believe in the good in people, but can't finish the sentence because he now knows that people are both good and terrible at the same time. That is, he wanted to say something about humanity, but no longer believes in simple answers. In the end, he never finished his sentence. In fact, he lets us finish it. while the storylines of In-ho and many other characters are cautionary tales that a person's moral decline is rarely sudden and is often driven by the simple desire to survive. Gi-hun's story and his final sacrifice show how one person can single-handedly create a wave of change and challenge the foundations of an entire system. Squid Game can also be seen as a play on the illusion of free will that often exists in capitalist systems. People believe they are free to shape their own destiny and win a large cash prize, but they are held back by inequality and class differences. So today, we uncovered some of the most intriguing secrets and hidden details from Squid Game Season 3. But trust me, the most shocking twists and the biggest reveals are still ahead. I've saved the craziest stuff for Part 3, so make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment if you have any questions or theories. See you soon in the final part. It's going to blow your mind.